be trying something a little bit different today. I'm not a qualified teacher in any way, but I'm gonna give you 3 tips on how to not completely suck as a beginner drummer. I'm not a good drummer by any means, but I think I've moved past the point of being a beginner. Say I'm a low intermediate. I'm not good, but I'm not horrible. The problem is, there were a lot of things I did wrong when I was a beginner, and I want to share those with you so that you don't do them. Those mistakes set me back a lot, and I probably could be a way better drummer if I hadn't done them. My first tip is set up your drums right. Like, actually right. People will say, oh, there's not a wrong way to set up your drums. No, there is a wrong way. The wrong way is if it makes you make mistakes and it's not ergonomically correct. If it will mess up your arms and make you feel pain because you're having trouble reaching, that's the wrong way. There's a lot of flexibility with drums, but make sure it's comfortable. That's the most important thing. If it's comfortable, it'll be easier to play. This is my kit. This is what I've settled on after 3 years of playing. Everything has a purpose and it has to be exactly where it is, so that I feel right. Toms are actually tilted a tiny bit up and I hate that. I'm gonna fix it. I don't feel like I have excess or doubles of cymbals or drums because everything has a purpose and I use every single part in one way or another. The one thing I wouldn't mind having is more cowbells though, the most important part of the drum set. I'm gonna pull up a picture of my first acoustic drum set. It was not good. I actually didn't have any cymbals or a snare stand, so I had to make do with what I had. At that point, I still didn't know how to play drums very well. I didn't even have a hi-hat and I didn't understand what it was. I started collecting more and more stuff, more and more drums, and just kind of putting it together without putting any thought of where I'd have to reach or how things would work. I just kind of stuck it all together and played it. I also didn't understand what the different parts were. I didn't understand what a ride was. The biggest cymbal I had was 18 inches. I was too naive to really understand what I had to do to sound good. The second thing is learn to tune your drums. I know so many teachers say this, but it's actually important for more than just the sound. If you keep all of your head super low and dead, there's gonna be no rebound, especially on the snare. And on your toms, they still want to bounce. There's not as much a rebound, but it shouldn't completely fall dead. Again, people will say there is no wrong way to tune your drums, but honestly there is. It's like hearing an out-of-tune violin. You don't want to hear that. Make sure your drums at least sound nice and feel good. I'm really particular about my drum tuning. With the snare, most of the time, I do like it high and bouncy. Sometimes I like to put a big fat snare on it. This is one of the greatest inventions ever. I just wish it wasn't expensive. $15 isn't that much, but still. It's just a piece of plastic. I do love that sound. It just feels a little different. I don't tune my toms to a specific note because I don't have perfect pitch and my relative pitch sucks, and I could get a tune bot, but I really don't need one. I just tune it to where it sounds good. And honestly, on different gigs, I like to change the tuning depending on the song or what songs I know we're playing. On the 8-inch, I don't have anything muffling. The 10, the 12, both have the Evans E-rings. 14 usually has the big fat snare drum, if it's not on my snare. And then the 16 has a 14-inch, because the pack I bought didn't have a 16. For my kick, I like to tune it a little higher just to make the rebound better. Although on some gigs, I do like to tune it a little lower if I'm not using the double bass. And the Aquarian Super Kick 2 is my favorite kick head I've ever played. I know it's illegal having a Remo patch on an Aquarian head, but oh well. Arrest me, it sounds good. It honestly just took messing around to find this tuning and then realize I actually liked it. For a long time, I didn't know what tuning really was. I just kind of turned the key and then was like, oh, well, it's on. But knowing the feel of your tuning and liking the sound, that makes a good experience playing. And the last thing is, if you're trying to learn a song, actually learn the song. When I was a beginner, I didn't understand that, like, at all. I would just turn on a song, play what I thought was good, and then just call it a day and move to the next song. I was just doing it for fun. I didn't think about anything like a metronome or playing in time or knowing what the part was. I would just kind of go, which is fine for a little bit, but if you want to actually play with people, that's not gonna cut it. Here's a video of me playing Blue by DA Games 2 years ago. Will Ryan and Iris were probably the most influential things in my drumming career. Iris was what got me into metal, specifically Heart of an Artist. So hearing me completely destroy this song and kill it, burn it in the ground, it's hard to hear. I didn't know what the part was, I didn't know what the timing was, I just kind of hit stuff, and back then, I was too naive to realize, oh, this is terrible. I thought it was amazing. I shared it on Instagram, I think I put it on YouTube. It was bad. And nobody told me, hey, this is terrible, you should learn how to play. Now here's me today playing the intro. This took 5 tries. It's not the best, but 5 tries versus 1 try. I used a metronome. I got most of the part down. It's not perfect, but for under 30 minutes of learning, it's a whole lot better than what I played back then. I have an entire channel I made, I think 2.5 years ago, called Low Budget Drummer. I thought I was going to be a famous drummer with that channel. I would be so cool. It's horrible. Looking back, I cringe every time I see it. I think there's 26 subscribers. I thought that was awesome. I technically still am a low budget drummer. I just spend all of the money I earn working in fast food on nice cymbals. Let me see how much I've spent on just these cymbals alone. I had someone legitimately get mad at me because they thought I was getting free cymbals from Red. I had to explain to them that no, I'm not an artist, I'm an ambassador. I don't get free cymbals. I spent money on all of these things. They did give me a discount code, which I use on this and this, but all of the other ones were full price. Technically, I got a couple of these on clearance, which they have on their website, which is super nice. You don't have to pay full price. I don't know why they're on clearance. Maybe they were defective, but they still sound awesome. That's where I got this, and these 16-inch hi-hats. These are all awesome cymbals. Okay, let me count it up. I'm not sponsored by them. They're not going to give me money for this. And honestly, they probably won't even watch this video. But go check them out at redcymbals.com if you like how they sound. These are some of the best cymbals I've ever heard for at an awesome price. Speaking of sponsors, this video is sponsored by Practicing Your Instrument. Go practice! But before you leave, please like and subscribe. I need to pay my editor, which is also me. I enjoy making these videos, but it would be nice to be paid. It would make him happy if you liked and subscribed.